Says it's being sent. It's actually showing up. The cities. Cool beans. Alright. I'm glad I finally got that to work. Don't worry, Chad, I'll do the intro and I'll explain what the fuck I'm on about here in a second. Just give me 1 second here. Okay. Control-C. Close. Control-V. Okay. Alright. Have chat pulled up. Alright, we're all good to go. Hello everyone. So as I said in the post, I am streaming some of the Switch 2 version of Xenoblade 2, which came out the other day. Before I get started with that though, I want to have a little rant, because I actually meant to go live about an hour and a half ago. As you can see, it's 2:51 right now. I first started setting up my capture card stuff with the Switch 2 at 1 p.m. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have a quick stream. It'll be fine. I'll be done by 2 o'clock. I can make lunch really quick. Yeah, that didn't happen. So, I don't know what the hell my laptop was on, but I had to restart it no less than 4 separate times before OBS would pick up both my microphone audio and let me hear what the fuck I was saying. Like, in the, what is it called? Audio monitoring. Audio monitoring. That way I could, like, hear what was going on in my game and stuff. It was really annoying, but it's fine. We got it. It's working now. That's what's important. Alright. So, I've gotten a couple more Switch 2 games since last update. This game right here, War in the North, that shadow dropped out of nowhere yesterday. I'm super hyped about it. I've played a bit of the first level. I grew up with this game. It's a big nostalgia game for me. I haven't beaten Pocopia yet. I have beaten Xenoblade 1's DE, which I will show you some of maybe during this stream, just to, like, compare, because the Switch 2 version of Xenoblade 2 is miles better than the Switch 1 or Switch 2 version of Xenoblade 1, unfortunately. It does have some issues, and I'll talk about those, but the main one that's the issue with the Xenoblade 1 DE is the frame rate is fucking atrocious in some areas. Specifically, Machna Forest, I think, is the worst of them, but Biona's Shoulder gets pretty bad too. Anyway, Xenoblade 2 is what we're actually streaming today, so let's go ahead and load that up. So, for context, I think I'm in Chapter 4 or Chapter 5. I honestly don't remember with Xenoblade 2. I'm in Lefthyria. I've done all of the story beats of Lefthyria except for the final fight against Zeke before you move on to Indal. So that might be how I end the stream. But mostly what I'm doing right now is just working on grinding out affinity charts. So this is my current party. On Rex, my very first rare blade that I pulled, like, at all, was fucking Telos, and I thought that was crazy. Like, or no, I think I deleted the screenshot. I posted it on Blue Sky, so if you check on my Blue Sky, you'll probably find it. It's from, like, a week ago, but still, just check my files, wherever. But yeah, she was my first rare blade on was Telos. And then I did finally pull Cosmos for, like, the first time ever. I've beaten Xenoblade 1 like 9 times, and this is the first time I've ever seen her. So that's really cool. Oh, hey, I want to things. G-Shard, okay. So I need to use Hilbert Effect one more time, and then RP a few more times. Unknown. Right now, the one I'm focusing on the most is Corvin, because Corvin in Lefthyria unlocks a bunch that he needs to do, which are all of these ones right here. So I've gotten about half of them done. I still need to defeat another Boomahilm, 2 Sagel Ansels, and 2 Slum Runners, so that shouldn't take too long. I think the helms are, like, right here. Nope, those are flyers. Camos. Bonnets. Camos. Bonnets. Hills. Okay, they're right here.
Just so.
So, right here, you might already be able to tell one of the major issues with Xenoblade 2 Switch 2 port, and that's that the audio balancing is fucking whack. Like, the audio in battle, all of the characters are shouting at the top of their voice, but you can't hear the battle music at all, which is, like, the exact opposite problem the game had at launch, where the battle dialogue was kind of quiet, like you couldn't really hear what characters were saying in battles. Like, actually saying not the art names, but, like, there are a few instances where characters actually have dialogue in battle, and you cannot hear what they're saying over the battle theme in the original. Whereas now you can't hear the battle theme over what the characters are saying in battle. And you still can't hear what the actual characters are saying in battle for, like, actual dialogue, because all you hear is Rex and Tora shouting spinning blade and double spinning edge. So, like, that's a major issue. But other than that, the two other ones that I've experienced are an actual soft lock, which pissed me the hell off. Is it this one? No, it wasn't this one. Is it this one? No, it wasn't this one. Yes, okay, it's this one. So, right here. I go to switch a blade, and then Rex just gets stuck, and I can't fucking do anything. The battle ends, any buttons I press just makes that fucking noise, and I had no choice but to close the game and reload it, and I lost like 5 hours of progress last night. That right there is the reason I'm doing this right now on stream, instead of just doing story stuff. Just so you guys are aware. So that is by far the biggest issue, is that there is actually a soft lock in this game, so be careful of that. The other thing is that sometimes the frame rate drops, but it's nowhere near as bad as in Xenoblade 1 Switch 2. It's mostly noticeable when characters are turning around in place in cutscenes. Which I know sounds weird, but when you notice it, you'll not be able to stop noticing it. But comparatively, that's a very small nitpick compared to Xenoblade 1 having 3 areas that ran at, like, god-awful choppy frame rates. Half of the racetracks being just unplayable completely. At least one stage in the challenge mode tanking the frame rates to, like, single digits. And having the broken post-battle dialogues. Comparatively, Xenoblade 2's is a lot better off. Still has issues, but apparently they're already working on a patch for some of them. I really hope that means they're also going to go back and patch Xenoblade 1's. Again, I've mentioned this before when I played the Xenoblade X Switch version on stream, but I don't think that game actually is as bad as people are saying. It's completely playable. I genuinely didn't even notice the issues when I was playing it, but, you know, if they wanted to patch that one too, I'm not gonna fucking complain, you know what I mean? But unfortunately, they haven't released any information about the patches yet, other than saying that they are working on it in a Japanese post on Twitter, and that they would tell us about the release date at some point. So, whenever that happens, I will be sure to let you guys know. Alright, so what does Cordovan need next? Sego, Ansel, Darmile. Is it just Darmile? Yeah, okay. So Slow Warmer and Sego. That's enough, because I can just hop on over to...
Where do we go from here?
As you can see, if you play the Switch 1 version, skip travel is really, really fast now, and doesn't turn the entire world into, like, the Play-Doh geometry while it loads everything in, so that's nice. Overall, loading times are pretty fast in the Switch 2 version, which is nice. Not that Xenoblade 2 really had long loading screens to begin with, it was mostly that the game would just break for a few seconds after you loaded into any area. But that doesn't happen anymore. Allegedly, they've boosted the gacha pull rate for Cosmos. I cannot confirm that, but I saw like 40 different posts about it on Reddit, like the day and week of this game coming out on Switch 2. And I obviously myself pulled Cosmos for the first time after 9 years of replaying this game. Or, not 9 years, 9 times replaying this game, my bad. So, they might have. I honestly don't know. It might just be a placebo effect, but I finally pulled Cosmos, so I'm not complaining. The other major quality of life change that they did is now whenever you have a field skill check, it will use your entire Blade roster, not just what you have currently equipped to your main party, which is a magnificent change, because well, there was only like 3 in the actual main story that you could realistically get like locked out of if you didn't have the specific rare or mix of common blades to pass them in the base game. It was still really tedious finding a new part of the map and being like, oh cool, what is this? I wonder if I'll be able to do it. And then the little window pops up and it's like 1 out of 9 lockpicking and then like 1 out of 12 focus as the unlock requirement for a chest that ultimately has like a single rare core crystal and some gold coins in it. Now, when you run into something like that, it'll check your entire party and your entire Blade roster, not just who's actively on field. So, like, it'll check both Pyra and Mithra. It'll check for focus with, like, Wolfric if he's in your Blade stock. It's really cool. There's definitely more stuff they could have done with quality of life things, I won't deny that. There's many things that they could have and probably should have done for quality of life things, such as the fucking compass up on the top. I've complained about this before ad nauseum back when Xenoblade 2 first released, but I genuinely don't understand how we went from the follow ball in X to this piece of shit, and then got sort of the follow ball back in 1DE on the minimap, and then just actually got it back in 3. Like, this game is now the only one in the entire Xenoblade franchise that has this shitty-ass, broken, Skyrim barely functional-ass compass up at the top of the screen. Oh, this isn't even the thing I need to be fighting. I need to be fighting Runners. Oh well. Same difference. It's XP, right? But yeah, like, there's definitely some quality of life things that they could have, and in my opinion should have, changed for the Switch 2 version, but at the end of the day, it's important to remember that this isn't a definitive edition. This isn't Xenoblade 2 DE. This is Xenoblade 2 Switch 2 $9 upgrade. And I think for all of the stuff that you get with the $9 upgrade, it is worth the price. I just personally wish they did a little bit more quality of life stuff. But the actual 2 new big things that you're paying for, like the actual, I bought this upgrade, what am I getting for it stuff, like, we all know not all Switch 2 upgrades are created equal, but some actually add new stuff, and this is one of them. The 2 new things it adds are Merc Assault, which Merc missions were in the original game. This is not a new thing. But you had to wait actual real-world time for them to finish, and it was really annoying. Some could take, like, an hour. It was so tedious. Like, this one down here, Shadow Puppet Surveillance, I've had that one active for 3 actual real-life days waiting for this fucking thing to complete, and it hasn't yet. But yeah, like, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. It can get really tedious. This one's an hour and 20, an hour and 40. So what they did is they added Merc Assault. Now, you can't do this for every single Merc mission. Basically, if the Merc mission is implied to have combat in it, you can do it in Merc Assault. but not all merc missions do. Some are like standing guard, or in the case of surveillance down there that's taken fucking forever. They don't always have combat, so the actual stage selection is smaller, but in this one, I'll just do this easy one because it's an elimination and it's not too long. You can actually choose the blades that you want to use. This is Momo. She's a Xenosaga character. She's one of your party members in Xenosaga. She is the other new thing that they added. I'll get to her in a second.
I bet you'll miss me.
So that's too light, too dark. Healer, attack, defender. Should I go for another defender or another healer? So I unfortunately don't have 3 dark blades. I mean, Momo technically, but she can't change forms in this one, so. Oh, as you can see, I don't have my favorite rare blade yet, and I'm very mad about it. She's right there, I can see her little icon, I just don't have her. Maybe I will actually pull her today, but I doubt it. But anyway, so this is Momo. She is the new rare blade that they added. Outside of being a Xenosaga character and potential canon ramifications with that, I'll be upfront, I haven't played her Blade Quest yet. I don't even know how you unlock it. I have the little icon for it in my affinity chart for her, but like when I go to the area in Uriah it says to go to, there's nothing there. So I think I just have to progress further in the story before anything will actually show up there. But I digress. Xenoblade X had some stuff with like Mims, Void, and the Vita, and like the Rift / upper lower domain and Souls stuff that like could sort of imply that if they wanted to, they could like make Telos, Cosmos, and Momo like canon to a degree, as like still being their Xenosaga selves, or like still having the soul of their Xenosaga self, not necessarily their memories, because like Momo and Telos, or Momo and Cosmos rather, have a post-battle dialogue together where like Momo hints at sort of remembering fighting alongside Cosmos, and it's kind of interesting, but Cosmos doesn't remember that, but Cosmos does have knowledge of how the world tree is built, and like there's some stuff in other games like Project X Zone where Cosmos and Fiora have dialogue together that implies some stuff. So like they could totally make it canon if they want to. I don't think it actually is canon unless that's like blatantly otherwise in her Blade Quest, but like not even all Blade Quests in this game are canon to begin with, so, you know. But I'm waiting to see before I say definitively on whether or not Momo is canon. But one thing that's very different with Momo compared to Cosmos and Telos is that she is actually integrated into the story in a way. It's a very basic integration, but the way you get Momo's core crystal is after the start of all of the Torgoth stuff. If you go back to Tora's house, you'll be able to get her core crystal, and it's revealed that it's specifically Momo that Tora and his entire family tried to awaken and were unable to. So, like, that is now just the canon part of Xenoblade 2, that the blade that Tora and Susu and Tadazo tried to awaken was Momo. But I don't know if that means that Momo herself is canon to Xenoblade 2, or that it's Momo from Xenosaga specifically that's canon to Xenoblade 2, if that makes sense. But Xeno is a fun series to talk about the canonicity of stuff, because ultimately, at the end of the day, legal requirements are going to say that, you know, unless something Xenosaga related comes out that specifically acknowledges Xenoblade, the connections are always going to be on the Blade side, not the Saga side. But getting stuff like Cosmos and Telos, and now Momo, as well as the Vector Industry logo, and all of the stuff in Xenoblade X Chapter 13, I think it's pretty clearly obvious that the intent is that they share a multiverse. And that, you know, the stuff in XDE is actually looking at what, like, the collective unconsciousness actually looks like, and multiple lower domains from the outside. Potentially even from the upper domain. Because, like, there's the shot of the thing in the core of the abyss that Void talks about, the mass of human souls that looks a hell of a lot like Udu. So, you know, I'm of the opinion that the rift is just straight up the upper domain, and from it you can, like, look into different lower domains. Especially since, you know, the rift is where the conduit gets its power from. But yeah. Anyway, that was that game mode that I just rambled over all of the gameplay of. It's a very, very basic game mode, but there's some stuff going on. Like, if you use opposing element specials to break element orbs, then you'll be able to, like, launch enemies in the air and attack them for free. And those little orbs do stuff like lowering the damage your party takes, or increasing your damage, or speeding up your recharge time. And each role also has their own deal, like healers are the only ones that can, you know, heal. But as you can see, you, just like the Merc group, you do actually still get affinity rewards for doing the Merc Assault. So that mode is also really good for unlocking various affinity charts. Unfortunately, I have not used Tora very much in this playthrough. That, I'll be straight up, I don't like Tora as a character. Like, I think Tora is objectively the worst part of Xenoblade 2 as a metric. Like, looking at the entire game as a package, Tora is not great. However, as a party member, Tora is kind of fucking busted, and there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with Tora. The problem is it requires doing Poppy Shop, or Poppy Swap rather, and I don't like playing Tiger. So, like, basically as soon as I unlock Morag, she becomes my default tank, and is actually the one I'm usually playing as. I think I've mentioned all of this stuff before, since this is not the first time I've played Xenoblade 2 on this channel. Which I think is really funny, because Xenoblade 2 is, like, objectively my least favorite Xenoblade game. I don't think it's bad or anything, and I actually do like it. Like, again, I've replayed it at least... There's one somewhere. I've replayed it at least 9 times, possibly more than that. But, like, it's also the game I feel the most friction when I'm playing it. Like, I feel that Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade 3 are fairly frictionless experiences, and Xenoblade X has some friction with stuff like Skell insurance, and, like, especially early on, like the first time you play the game, there's some really big difficulty spikes if you don't fully understand all of the combat and, like, how Overdrive works. Obviously, replaying the game with all of that knowledge, it's one of the easiest video games ever made. But, you know, that's not really saying anything when you have the ability to make your entire party invincible for large stretches of time in Xenoblade X. But, like, stuff like this, needing to run over and pick up items, is more friction compared to stuff like Xenoblade 3, or even 1 and X. X, I think, is a little tedious because the window pops up every time you defeat an enemy. But I really like Xenoblade 1's version of just dropping the chest. Sometimes the chest could drop in an inaccessible location, and that would be a little tedious, but, like, there was never worry of items despawning in Xenoblade 1 or Xenoblade X, whereas that is a distinct thing that can happen in both 2 and 3. Even though 3 fixed a lot of the system of how it works, so, like, the items will drop basically onto your character if an enemy dies off screen, which is a very nice change. But, like, it isn't perfect, because, like, if you kill an enemy in a chain attack that isn't the target of the chain attack, they'll just immediately explode their items everywhere. But because you're stuck in the chain attack, your options are either to end it early and just waste all of that party gauge charge, and, like, pick all of the items up, hopefully, or just not pick up the items because you're sticking with the chain attack, because you obviously intended to use the chain attack when you used the chain attack. So, like, even Xenoblade 3, it's not perfect, but I think Xenoblade 1 having a chess system is the best. That said, the collection points, I think, in Torna are the best. I don't really like them in 1X or 3. The little glowing spots. I think Torna having them in dedicated spots and having an icon to show you specifically what kind of item you will gather from them is a very, very good change. Did I kill the ones I needed from Wolfric? I think I did. Or not, wasn't Wolfric, it was Clothing.
I'm not sure there's anyone out there good enough to beat me.
I need one more Sigil Ansel. Okay. I wanted to double check before I just ran off. Sigil Ansel right there. Is there a closer one? Yes. I don't really know if that's closer necessarily, but whatever.
And hit.
Yes, come this way, away from the group of tokens.
Do not underestimate them.
Once again, as a Xenoblade standard, you really don't want to get into a fight with a large group of enemies. It is a great way to die really fast.
Maybe we're not.
Doesn't matter what Xenoblade game it is, that's just generally the rule. There was a little frame hitch there. I don't know if you guys saw that. So, like, they are present. They do happen. It's just nowhere near as frequently as Xenoblade 1 specifically is. And I honestly don't even remember anything frame rate happening at all in Xenoblade X Switch 2 edition, so that was very nice.
What have we here?
Gotta be kind to the environment.
Alright, so that should be all of the affinity charts I was working on.
Wait till you get a load of Durin.
So, staple food.
I love this.
So, for these, they used pouch items. There's two ways to do it. You can either just give it to a character and let it play out and, you know, let it do its thing. Or you can spam it and just give them all to them in one go, but I don't like doing it because it's kind of a waste of money. But, you know, you can do that to speed things up if you want to. You are known. But yeah, see, Momo I have right here. Go to Luska's Gap in her right, and there's nothing there, so. Electric Pom Pom, that's her first special. That was easy enough to do. And HP potions. Buster. Yeah, okay, I think that's all of my, like, target enemy affinity charts. So we'll go ahead and head towards the story. So, where am I exactly? There. You don't really have to worry about spoilers necessarily in this stream, because I'm not really at, like, major story stuff yet. At least I don't think so off the top of my head. Like, there's the stuff with Temperantia coming up, which I guess could be considered a spoiler, considering a character dies at the end of that boss fight at the end of that area, but, like, the character who dies is introduced, like, a chapter before then, so, like, I don't know. I'm more attached to that character because of their appearance in Torna than I ever was to their appearance in Xenoblade 2's base game. So, yeah, but whatever. But even then, that's still, like, most people consider the big Xenoblade 2 spoilers to start happening around, like, Chapter 7, Chapter 8, even, like, Chapter 9 to a degree, and then, like, obviously the end game. But also, at this point, you guys should know that if you're watching me ramble, you should expect spoilers, because, like, I just stream of conscious my thoughts about this hyperfixation of mine, and so, like, I'm going to spoil stuff because the thoughts I have inherently revolve around the spoiler-related topics to this franchise. My favorite part about this franchise is the insane deep-cut lore, so, like, that's generally the stuff I tend to think about the most. But right now I'm just enjoying the vibes, because that's also a big part of Xenoblade 2. Well, the Xenoblade series is entirety, really, is enjoying the areas and the scenery you pour in. Hopefully the game music is alright. The audio mixing testing I did was specifically for the battle segments, because that's when the game is at its loudest, and I was worried about it drowning out my voice given how frequently battle takes place in Xenoblade 2. But I know that also means that, like, the area themes are going to be pretty quiet. Like, I can hear it in my monitoring over the headphones I'm wearing, but I don't know how well you guys can hear it, like, with my voice and stuff. So hopefully it's not too quiet. Someone has texted me.
Come out, come out.
Is that all? Yeah. It's important, but I can deal with it after I'm done streaming. Alright. It's important, but not time sensitive. One thing I do like is that it seems like enemies in the distance no longer have the really low frame rate as you get closer to them. They seem to still be moving pretty smoothly even out in the distance. That said, that isn't true for everything. Like, especially in Gormott, there's a lot of birds flying out in the way far distance, and they look really bad and move at, like, 15 frames a second, because the original game was 30 and it wasn't noticeable. But now you see that they're, like, 140p PNGs, or, like, GIFs, just moving awkwardly in the sky because of how good the frame rate and resolution is now. So, like, when you notice stuff like that, it's a little funny. But it's kind of expected, you know? It just adds to the goofy charm of Xenoblade 2, I suppose. Also, I am not using auto-run, but auto-run is a feature. Like, I just turned it on, I'm no longer even touching the controller at all. So, like, you don't necessarily have to hold the forward button while you're, or forward button, analog stick, forward while you're, exploring in Xenoblade games, but, like, I do kind of miss having a mount, I guess, because, like, Xenoblade X, I got really used to being able to explore around with a Skell since I beat it, like, 3 times in a row. And then Xenoblade 1 Switch 2 obviously added the Ether Jets. Obviously, they're not great. Like, I strongly recommend not using the Ether Jet for any reason inside of Magna Forest. I know the area is fucking massive, but trust me, it's way bigger of a headache having the frame rate drop even further and constantly driving into trees like you're fucking the Stormtrooper in Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Like, it's not a good time. Some areas, like Bionis Knee, it obviously works great in. Satoru Marsh, traveling over the Erythian Sea, all of that is great, but, like, I wouldn't use it in some areas like Magna Forest, but even still, I got really used to having it as an option. So going from those to Xenoblade 2 and Rex's slow as shit movement speed is kind of an adjustment. It's not too bad because most of the Titans in Xenoblade 2 are actually smaller than their comparative areas in Xenoblade 1 and especially 3 and X. But, like, it's noticeable when you're running from one half of Gormott to the other. obviously skip travel is a thing, and you can always just skip travel, but like, sometimes you like to enjoy the music and scenery as well. You just want to go a little faster, if that makes sense. I'm not really paying attention while I fight this dude, which is probably a concern, because if I remember correctly, he does actually have a knockback move he can use to send us over this cliff. So, that is actually something I want to be a little careful of, but... Thank you. Take all you. Funnily enough, I haven't upgraded Cosmos' weapon yet. I'm still using the default weapon, even though it's weak as hell. Because it's shaped like the fucking Xenosaga Zohar. I think that's the funniest thing ever. So, like, I'm sticking with my Xeno fucking gun, okay? But yeah, as you can see from the numbers here, her damage output isn't great. Apparently there is a post-game weapon chip that drops from a super boss you can use to retain your default Blade's weapon appearance, but there's only one of them in the entire game. So, like, I'm probably going to use her for Cosmos. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do for replaying this game in the future. Unfortunately, they didn't change it, so you still only get the one save file. And normally I prefer doing fresh New Games instead of New Game Pluses in Xenoblade games, because I find New Game Plus to be too easy. Like, I enjoy actually being able to engage with the combat system and not just one-shotting everything for the first 40 hours. So, like, even with the level down in Xenoblade 2 that you unlock in New Game Plus, all of the, like, affinity chart bonuses and, like, core chip upgrades and aux cores that you'll have on your characters will still mean they're gonna be one-shotting pretty much everything. So, like, I really wish they added a second save file, and I wish they added something similar to the layered armors that they have in 1 and X, where, like, they added a universal rare blade library, so, like, if you unlocked it on a character in one save, you can use that blade on any save. I know that would, like, totally ruin the difficulty, and there's no way they would ever do that, but, like, if I had one, like, you know, genie wish quality of life change about Xenoblade 3, it would probably be that. That way I could start a new game and not have to worry about never pulling Cosmos again. I suppose I could always just start a new save, because I do have 2 profiles, so, like, I could always use my second Switch profile, but... And that's actually what I usually do when I'm playing Xenoblade 2, is I have to swap back between save files, but... Still. That's water light. Honestly, that's probably all I need to beat this dude. I bet if I did a chain attack now, it would be enough to kill him. But I want to get a fire on as well, if I can. Because, like, he can heal himself, but that healing is so negligible, it's not even really a concern. Alright, Morag. Can you fucking use your special yet? I'm gonna do what's called a pro gamer move and use Mithra's fucking betterness to charge up the recharge faster for Pyra. For those who don't know, one of Mithra's passives is that she gets enhanced art recharge every time she lands a critical hit, and Pyra does not get that. So if you ever want to quickly recharge your specials to do what I just did, a full 3 combo with Mithra, or with Pyra rather, that's a really good way to do it. Alright, so this dude's about to fucking die, so this chain attack isn't meant to kill him, it's basically just to get better rewards. Yeah, died in 1 hit. That's not surprising. So water...
Very well. Unleash your power. Heat pain. Yeah, take them down. On it.
Well, let's hope she hits either light or water. If she hits fire, then it's just gonna end. Nice. Okay, cool. So in that case, I will hit you with fire. Oh, actually, I should have used Hilbert Effect. Because I had the thing to get that one up. Oh well, it's whatever. Oh, if you're wondering why I have Wolfric on Morag, it's because I've had absolutely fucking atrocious rare blade luck with Morag this run. Like, genuinely probably the worst I think I've ever had. Genuinely, I think the only rare blade I've pulled on her legitimately so far is fucking Florin. And I've used, like, 30 rare blade crystals and over, like, 130, commons, and I just am not having any luck with her.
I'll show you what I can really do.
You enemy got me.
Remind me to hold back next time.
Whoa, nice.
Critical crystal.
An arresting display of strategy.
But yeah, like, I will show you guys exactly how bad my luck with Morag has been. Engage blades. Yeah, Florin is literally the only rare blade that I've actually pulled with her. Everything else has been a shitty common. Like, obviously, not all commons are shitty, and some are actually really good in Xenoblade 2, but, like, I want my fucking Perun, man. I don't even think I actually can awaken any more blades. I think I have to release some if I want to. Yep. But we won't worry about that right now. Now, I was just talking about how much I don't like Tora, and we're about to be forced to use Tora, but that's fine. We'll sit back and enjoy the cutscene first.
Finally, you took your sweet time.
You're the... Hey, Charlotte.
Hey,
You just don't give up, do you? Come on, out the way.
More like stubborn leech than turtle.
this time I'm here for something a little bit different.
Oh, what's that supposed to mean?
I want to see just how good you are, chum. I've been waiting here for 3 whole days already.
3 days? Seriously? You know what? No thanks. I don't pick on idiots.
Well then, fight me and we'll see who's the idiot.
Oh, one of the other things they added is HD rumble to cutscenes, like Zeke's swords rumbled there. It's really nice.
You want to join the fun too?
No. You all go ahead.
Huh? Why?
What a shame. Looks like the illustrious Flamebringer won't be helping you this time.
Thanks for the concern and all, but maybe you should be worrying about yourself. Big tree to your right, big rock to your left, and a cliff right behind you. Which one's gonna get you this time, eh?
Not today, furry ears. Check this.
Also, sorry if you guys can hear my laptop fan going crazy in the background.
Whoa!
taking me seriously yet? Hmm?
Oh, so strong. What the? How did you do that?
Thunderbolt Zeke. Tantal's most powerful driver. And its crown prince.
Crown Prince of Tantal.
This guy?
It is quite the rare opportunity to see his swordsmanship firsthand.
Now this is more like it. Ooh, come on, yeah. Keep it coming. That's it? That's all I get?
I've never understood why Bridget, like, keeps the peeking window for the fan there.
As if. We're only just warming up, you pompous ass.
I'm right with you. Let's show him what we got.
Yes! Let's see
Yes,
if
yes, I know,
Aegis
but,
is
you
worth
know,
the hype.
spoilers and stuff. So, yeah, now, I mean, I guess technically we don't have to use Tora, we could just go in without a tank, but, like, that's a not great idea. That said, I am high enough level that it probably doesn't matter. I mean, he survived having a sun blow up in his face, so, you know, not for nothing, that's gotta count somewhere, right? Oh, he's fine to get knocked over. Supposedly, if you button mash when you get knocked over in Xenoblade 2, you recover faster. I don't know if there's any truth to that. I remember reading it somewhere. Yeah, probably a good thing I brought a tank. Also, I like how as soon as I bring Telos out, I get punished for it. That happens so often. I'm probably going to give either Telos or Cosmos to Zeke after this fight. I just haven't decided who I specifically want to give to who. Because I love Telos, she's one of my favorite Xenosaga characters, but her movement speed in this game is so ass on Rex. It is so hard to actually, like, charge up arts. Yeah, that wasn't a terribly difficult boss fight. I mean, he knocked me down once, but that's not too bad. Considering how far behind Tora is relative to the rest of the party.
Right back at you. Impressive. Didn't think I'd ever see another driver and blade on Morag and Bridges level.
You're still holding back. Where's the Aegis's true power?
Are you sure you want Siren to start nuking shit from orbit on a wooden dock, Zeke?
Oh, that's so sweet. So I'm a good guy now, is that it?
Am I wrong?
I like your attitude there, chum. Well, that's an Aegis's driver for you.
How did we do, Your Highness?
Sure, you pass. I think we can just about let you into the Praetorium.
What the hell?
I've been working for Indel for a while now. A kind of special envoy. They asked me to keep an eye out for the Aegis. Actually, I volunteered to. You know how it is. I'm jolly sorry for testing you like that.
We were planning on getting this over with in one encounter, but His Highness has the most awful luck, so...
Yeah, I think I got that.
What are you talking about? Everyone has bad days, right?
See, Mithra didn't even need to start nuking shit for him to fall off the level.
There he goes.
Bad luck indeed.
Should we go rescue him? Nah. He'll find his own way back up somehow. Let's
Remember, they have a kid together. Oh my god, I just had a cursed thought. I'm not gonna say it, but I just had a really cursed thought. I'm so glad Anuna is returning for Xenoblade Genesis. They're the ones who are doing this song in the background here.
Whoa. It's so grand.
Sure, because they're trying to, Mard. You don't have to be like that.
Did you say something?
Oh, no, nothing.
Your audience with the Praetor is scheduled for tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I haven't mentioned it, but I really love the little spacey effect on Pyra's outfit. It's on Mithra's as well, it's just harder to tell because it's like lighter blue.
Rare opportunity.
Yeah! Let's look around city. Tora want to see everything. What are we?
I would say overall I prefer Mithra's new outfit to Pyra's, actually, though. I do like Pyra's hair, though.
Right. You were a bit big to go running around Indol before now.
Oh, that's a funny image.
Nothing personal, Tora, except, you know, the part where it is personal. That's it, nothing, it's okay. I do love the Indol Titan dragons, they're so cool. I'm glad that in Xenoblade Genesis, it seems like dragons are actually going to be plot relevant instead of just being a cool aesthetic thing, because, like, every Xenoblade game has had a dragon to some degree. Like, Xenoblade 1 has the dragon in the cathedral, and there are a couple super boss dragons. Xenoblade X has Telethia the Endbringer and Farsis the Everqueen, as well as Yggdrasil Zero, I guess you could kind of argue. This game obviously has Indol and the smaller Indoline Titans that are very dragon-coded. And Xenoblade 3 has that one random dragon that attacks you in the middle of, like, Chapter 4 after, the stuff in, what colony does Isard lead? Whatever colony Isard was in charge of. Gamma? No, I don't think it's Gamma. I'm pretty sure Gamma is Mio's colony. Whatever colony that Isard was, after they finish up the stuff there, like, when they're leaving the Great Falls, they, like, get ambushed by a random dragon, and it's where the party learns about the beeping of the Ouroboros and how you shouldn't let that go for too long. It's a very random cutscene and, like, boss fight that is kind of just there, so the party knows not to ignore the beeping, so that they can later ignore the beeping later, you know? I still don't know how you're supposed to pronounce the name of this city. I always just say Goethe, or Goetia, I know it's not Goetia because Goetia is the name of the antagonist in Xenoblade X and like the Ars Goetia. I think it's supposed to be pronounced Goetwis or Goetwi, but yeah, I just say Goetia. I know it's not that. I'm like objectively wrong in calling it that. It's just what I call it for my own sake of ease. And it's funny that that's one of the core teachings, considering what happens later, but whatever. I will infect by your cookies. I might not have Perun yet, but I will buy your cookies. Honestly, I might just try and do a couple rare blade pulls just to try and get... See, I have 9, so I'll just quickly release the bottom, like, 9 commons I have. Make sure I don't have anything useful. Yeah, probably not.
Hey, that's...
Thanks for everything.
I see. Well, take care.
So, like, are you just killing rare blades when you release them in universe? Like, what's going on here?
Thanks for everything.
This one you can't release because it's my first common blade pull. The first one that Rex gets as part of the tutorial is always Wind Knuckle, and that one you just can't release for any reason. I stopped counting, so I don't know if that's enough, but it probably is. Yes. Nope. I'll be real, even after replaying Xenoblade 2 so much, I have no idea what the boosters actually do. I've never bothered to look it up. I'm pretty sure that the element you see swirling around the core crystal influences the type of blade that you'll get at the end. Oh sweet, I finally got a rare blade, Agate. It's not who I necessarily wanted, but I do like Agate. So I'm okay with that. I mean, it is another Earth, and she's got fucking 3 Earth blades, so... But still, it's something. Yeah. Don't worry, I will show you guys the Agate Blade Awakening cutscene. I'm just gonna, finish awakening these. Damn it. Yep, just Agate. Okay. I will show you Agate's Blade Awakening really fast. It's probably not a bad idea to save anyway. Can you mess with you? I think while I'm doing this really quick, I'll also show you guys the quick Xenoblade 1 comparison with, like, its performance. Blade.
I'm Agate. My heart is pure, and my will unbreakable.
But yeah, that one's Agate. The blade that I am hoping to pull, but I haven't yet, is Perun, her. She is my favorite rare blade. There's a long story behind it. I've talked about it before. I know she's a pain in the ass to level, and she's objectively not a great blade, but she's my personal favorite. But anyway, so that was Xenoblade 2. So I'll show you guys Xenoblade 1 as a quick little comparison to show you guys how the performance differs, because it really is so much worse. It's not always worse, but it definitely can be. To avoid having to quit out of Future Connected and then load back into the base game, or vice versa, I'm just going to show you base game content from the save that I just beat. These two are from older saves. Fun fact, I like to use casual mode specifically when I'm fighting Zanza, because sometimes his second final boss form catches me off guard and I don't feel like, restarting the entire final fucking boss fight. I don't do it every time, but like, if I'm in a rush to just finish the run, then sometimes I'll turn it on. Or if I'm just playing for the story, but anyway, Xenoblade 1 spoilers, but I don't care. So, here in Prison Island, the frame rate is a little choppy, but it's not too bad for the most part. And to give you a better comparison, I will actually go to Bionis Lake, because that's a decently large open area. And that'll also let me show off some of the other new stuff. Unlike 2 and 3, Xenoblade 1 doesn't add a new party member, so nothing to show there. But it does add these, the Ether Jets. Xenoblade Kart is real. But yeah, like, the poppin' is still pretty bad, but like, the actual frame rate isn't too bad for the most part in like specific areas. I haven't kicked Rotbart's ass yet in this save, so we'll see if I can pull it off. Honestly, I should have put the Monado 3, but whatever. Oh, there was a hitch there. I don't know if you guys saw it. One of the other major glitches is Fiora's auto attack animations are completely broken if you're actually playing as her. They just don't work at all, which is kind of annoying. Honestly, having Charlotte in my party for this is not great. But I wanted to have specifically Shulk and Fiora in the final boss against Zanza for this run, which would have been a little bit difficult without, like, a dedicated healer. I should have used Monado Buster and then gone into Metal Blast, because then I could have chained it in more, but that's whatever. I'm not, like, actively trying to defeat Rotbart here. I'm probably going to, but, like, I'm not actively trying to. All things considered, Territorial Rotbart isn't actually a difficult boss fight at all. It's just, he's, like, induced generational trauma on the Xenoblade fandom, because every time a player starts a new game, he kicks their ass. Yeah, that wasn't difficult. But yeah, so that's what Xenoblade 1 is like, I would say 75% of the time on Switch 2. And then there are areas like Machna Forest, unfortunately. So like right here, nothing too bad, right? Seems to be running okay, seems to be going fine.
This is some speed.
Oh, there was one just there. Don't know if you guys saw it. There was another one. That was two already in quick succession. Yep, there was a big one just there. There's the one right there. Also, I don't know if you guys can tell, but the, like, upscaler that they used for Xenoblade 1 does not like Magna Forest at all, and, like, things look bad in this area sometimes. Especially in the sunny day weather when it gets, like, the hazy effect.
Let's give it a moment.
But yeah, like, there are so many more frame rate hitches in Magna Forest compared to everywhere else in the game. Like, it still objectively runs better than it did on Switch 1. It's still objectively running better than Xenoblade 1 has ever ran before, but it just looks so bad compared to the rest of the game and how frequently it drops down. Supposedly it's doing this because of something called double-layered VSync. I don't understand the technology. I don't know what any of that means, but from what I've read, it's basically whenever the game will drop down to 59 frames a second, in order to not look choppy, the game drops all the way down to 30 instead, so it maintains a quote-unquote stable frame rate. But I think that's kind of bullshit, because I think it makes it look even more choppy than it would have if it had just gone down to 59. But again, I don't really understand the whole, like, technology behind it. I don't know why it was chosen to implement it this way. I just know it looks really bad in some areas, and this is one of them.
Trouble.
That dude will probably kick my ass. But yeah.
And we're off. Go, go,
So yeah, compared to that, Xenoblade 2's Switch 2 port runs significantly faster than the other ones. Or faster. Runs significantly smoother than the other ones, that's what I meant to say. Just for the hell of it, I'll show you guys Xenoblade X again, just for a final bit of comparison. I know I already streamed Xenoblade X, but I have the games right here, so... I'll probably just do, like, a tyrant fight and then fly around a little bit. I'll load my base save. Rather than the one I beat last time. So, like, I guess compared to the last game, and, like, sitting directly in front of my TV instead of, like, a little ways away like I normally do, I do see what they're talking about with, like, the lines on the fence there wavering a little bit from the upscaler. But, like, I still think this looks, like, totally playable. A little bit of wavering on lines is not enough to ruin a game for me. And, like, I'm still not seeing any real frame drops or anything. You can hop in the scale, fly around, fly directly into a building, it's fine. NLA can afford it. But yeah, like, compare flying in the fucking Hrazvelg in the Switch 2 version of Xenoblade X to taking the ether jet at the lowest speed through that section of Magna Forest that I was just doing, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It is a night and day difference sometimes, and it's very strange, because as far as I know, they were all done by the same company. I've read some people say that Xenoblade X's was done in-house by Monolith, while 1, 2, and 3 were done by, I don't even remember what they were called now. They were the studio that did the Batten Kaitos remaster for Switch 1, whatever studio they were. Studio Beat or something like that? Or Logical Beat, I think. Something along them lines. So they might have done X as well, but I've also heard people say that X was done in-house by Monolith and not them. Talking the Switch 2 port specifically, not the DE versions, for clarity's sake. But yeah, this runs, like, beautifully. I think it runs great. I'll go beat up my favorite tyrant. Oh, not actually my favorite tyrant. My favorite tyrant is probably Dedan, the strongest prone, now that I think about it. Because I think he's just fucking silly. But, you know what? A good point of comparison would actually be he ridden the Territorial, since I just fought Territorial Rotbart. I don't remember if I ridden the Territorial spawns during the night, though. Is that him? That's him. Cool.
Ready? Let's move in.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm streaming, but yeah, I will check it out when I'm done. Sorry, that was my roommate. I had a letter in the mail. It's kind of important.
I feel amazed from this distance using auras. Please, why don't you please?
I fucking love the Kresvelg. I mentioned it before, but I genuinely think Kresvelg is my favorite thing they added in XDE. It is so fun to use. I've always loved the dodge tank playstyle in Xenogames. Dunban is like my favorite character to use in Xenoblade 1 other than Melia. Morag is my favorite character to use in Xenoblade 2. Ghostwalker Invincibility Overdrive in Xenoblade X is absolute peak, and anyone who's played the game knows that. Who's the dodge tank in Xenoblade 3? I guess Mio in her starting class is supposed to be, but like, she doesn't really fill the same like narrative role. That would be closer to Ashira. But I think Mio is actually better at being a dodge tank than Ashira is for the most part. Shulk also is supposed to be a dodge tank in Future Redeemed, and I do love to play as Shulk in Future Redeemed, because it's also peak, but like, it's an objective fact that he is not good at being a tank in that game. Not only is his son better at handling DPS than Shulk is in Xenoblade 3 Future Redeemed, but Rex, no matter what, is going to do enough DPS that he will basically pull it off of both of them regardless, every chance he gets. So if anything, Rex in Future Redeemed is the actual tank of the game. He's just, you know, not a good one either. He'll hold the aggro, he just won't survive long enough to do anything with it. But yeah, so this is Xenoblade X in comparison. As you can see, it runs beautifully. I have not noticed a single frame drop, whereas the other two games I did notice at least small hitches, and in the case of Magna Forest, not so small hitches. But like, even doing a totally fair comparison and going to Noctilum, the area that is the equivalent to Magna Forest in Xenoblade 1 in this game. In a Skell, mind you, which, by the way, in every other version of X, in a Skell ran just usually worse than out of a Skell. And Kresvelg wasn't even in the original Wii U version. But like, even here, it still runs great. Get out of my Skell, things look great, things run great, it's just great. Like, honestly, I think, outside of the fact that XDE Switch 2 version didn't add any new content, I honestly think XDE Switch 2 upgrade is my favorite of the Xenoblade Switch 2 upgrades, as crazy as that sounds, because I know that's like the exact opposite of what most people say. but I would rather have actual smooth 60 FPS than the jittery stuff that Xenoblade 1 had, and the, like, soft walking that Xenoblade 2 introduced. But I'm just rambling. Like, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. All three of the games are completely playable. If you like them, you're still going to like them. If you didn't like them, I'm not sure they will convince you to like them, unless the reason you didn't like them is the shitty performance on the Switch 1, which, valid. Definitely valid. I have not been able to go back to replay any of the Xenoblade games on Switch 1 since I got my Switch 2. Even Xenoblade 3, like, Xenoblade 3 ran mostly well for most of the game, but then there were some areas like Arithia Sea that the game just did not like. But yeah, that's Xenoblade 1, 2, and 3 as just a little showcase of this, or not 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and X. 3 is not out yet. On the Switch 2, just as a quick comparison of how they perform. Do I have Xenoblade 3 installed? I don't. If I did, I would show you how that one ran as well, but I don't have it downloaded. But yeah, I honestly think I'm probably going to end the stream there. I've been streaming for about an hour, so that's probably good, right? Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. And I will be back hopefully sooner than it took for me to stream this time, but hopefully I won't have these same kind of issues again. Alright, bye.